This is a pattern that is quite popular, I would say, in terms of first thing to try and to test in organizations. We've seen people, for example, after this course saying, I want to do this peer review and I will create that meeting and fishbowl it. So people get a chance to see how it is and then get inspired by it and start doing it themselves. Okay. So, do you remember in the domain description we have a review date? Anybody? Yeah, I see some nodding. So that review date refers to the date where that person or those people who account for a domain will have a peer review. So peer review applies for an individual in a role, but also for a circle, for example. And the first step in the peer review is actually to invite people to participate in that meeting. James drew here a very nice organization. Where am I, James?
This is you here, Lili. She's this green dot.
Yeah, so if I'm part of the organization, I'm there, and my peer review is coming closer. Let's say I'm in a role. I will invite participants that have a relevant contribution to make to my peer review. Have you heard of 360s? Yeah, it's the same principle. So I might invite a colleague of mine that I'm closely working with, but I also might invite somebody from a neighboring circle that I'm in contact with and knows about my work. I might invite somebody from a subset circle, so maybe they respond to me, and somebody from a superset circle, somebody that I respond to. So I have this 360 perspective. I might even invite somebody from the outside of the organization, a client or a customer, my mom. You know, my mom always has very good feedback to give. So anybody with a relevant contribution to make. That's my mom, right? When I invite those people, I also send out before any information that are relevant for people to know that they can give feedback against. So the domain description, that people can know my accountabilities and so on, and also the strategy. We didn't touch into strategy, we'll come back to this later. And in that meeting, let's say, for example, I ask Joke, can you please facilitate this meeting for me? Yeah? People might know already and think about their appreciations and improvement suggestions, and we come together and go through the steps, collect appreciations. I will start offering my appreciations for myself, and then everybody else, and we will go around until we collect all appreciations. And then improvement suggestions, again, I start. I have the chance to show you that I am aware of the things that are not going so well, and I already thought of ways to improve it. Yeah. And then people can add their improvement suggestion. We co-create the development plan, and of course I lead because it is my role, and I can collect those things that I think would most fit with my development, but also people can make input into that. And at the end we'll check for no objections in that small meeting. The same applies for a circle peer review, for any group. So you would do the same process, go through the same steps with a group of people working together. So you would first collect the appreciations from everybody, and then you would have people invited from the outside to add on top of that. This can be quite effective with some preparation. Yeah, we did this with around 15, 20 people in a room in 45 minutes. Let's say there is the peer review of which group?
It's a circle here.
Yeah. So they have also a review date. They would invite maybe somebody from a neighboring circle that they are connected with, somebody from a subset circle that responds to them, and somebody from a superset circle, client, customer, somebody from the outside, and so on. Sorry? My mom, exactly.
She's everywhere.
My mom is there. So, coming back to the development plan. Yeah. Basically, that development plan will become part of my strategy, part of how I intend to respond in my role. And my question to you right now, if I am there, the yellow dot in the organization, who created my role? Who decided for me to be in that role? The circle I'm in, yeah? So basically, me being in that role is the strategy of my circle. And now in this peer review, I invited several people that have a relevant contribution. But I do want to check, because it was their decision, or our decision as a circle, for me to be in the role. I want to check with them if they have objections or concerns. So the development plan will go on my circle's governance backlog as a proposal. And in that meeting, we'll check any objections or concerns for that. So it's like a safety mechanism, or like a closing of a cycle. Yeah? With their perspective, they can see other things that I missed. Yeah. And the same for a group peer review. Who created the blue circle? Whose decision was it? The outer circle, yeah, the superset circle. Yeah? So their strategy was, we want to delegate this domain to a circle. Yeah? And they put a review date. So whenever that development plan comes, is created in that meeting, it will come to their governance backlog as a proposal and check for further objections or concerns. Yeah? And in case they failed miserably, yeah, nobody can say, oh, you did a shitty job and I knew this is going to happen, because they had a chance to check it and express any objections or concerns. It really distributes the accountability. And the development plan proposal includes, as you experienced in your exercise, things related to the personal development. In the case of a group, it would be something about the group development, how we are as a team. And also can include changes to the domain description. Yeah. This is why we send it ahead, because I might have done a really awesome job, but the domain description sucks, because it's missing a key responsibility, or there are too many, or I don't know, there are many possibilities. So in the review, we'll gather information about that as well. So amendments to the domain description, which includes amendments to the driver for my role, or the driver for the circle, because things change and they might not happen the way they did, and they might not be needed. Yeah? So it can include amendments to the domain description, but not necessarily. So that's it.